Athletes who turn up to compete, they put a bit more effort in. They try to be the best amongst their group. Then there's the athletes who train to win. They train every day, every session, so that they win on match night. And then there are just those very few players who train to dominate. They train so hard that winning is inevitable on race night.
You know, I really don't have regrets. I am a person that says, you know, as soon as you look back in your history and you come up with something that you feel like you want to change, something else has to change. Once again, that's the same analogy. You know, disappointment to me, to win, you got to lose. To be successful, you got to have something that's not successful. To be happy, you got to have disappointment. So I think all of those things have evolved and happened to make me who I am and understand the benefits and the privileges I have for being who I am, you know, and not to wear it on my sleeve, be very humble about it. That's one thing my parents taught me very well.
If you don't own something, you're not the boss. You have to take full responsibility for everything that you do. Why be subservient? You must be the master of your own kingdom.
I feel you. Makes a lot of sense.
You've got to own that. You can't just walk into things with your eyes half open. You've got to walk into things with your eyes fully open. You've got to know what you're getting into. You have to take possession of your life. You drift on this point.
Right.
And it is whatever form of meditation or mantra that you decide to espouse, there needs to be some period in your day where you remember that there's a world out there trying to tell you who you are, and there's a world in here that's trying to tell you who you are. Now, where do you want to put your eggs? Because the world outside is very noisy and very tempting, and it has all the razzmatazz, it has all the tinsel and all the glitter.
It's 20-some years. I have worked my tail off to figure out a way of writing a business plan that I can teach others how to write a business plan. So when you go buy books on business plans, it's all boring, technical. It's for a Fortune 500 company or somebody that wants to go raise capital, and it's so complex and dense. You will not think about a business planning book that you're gonna walk away saying, here's how I can write a business plan that's simple, that I can look at it over and over and over again. Great, I'm good to go, right? There isn't something like that out there. This is supposed to be a business planning book that turned into an enemy's book. So when I'm talking to the CEO, the publisher of a portfolio, okay?
I don't know if self-esteem is the answer. You know, I don't think it's bad to be hard on yourself, as long as you also celebrate when the victories happen. But, you know, so many people will tell you, I have poor self-esteem because when I was a kid, people said this to me and that to me. It's convenient that we remember those things and not the positive things that also occur, obviously. But I think it's more important is to realize that self-esteem is earned. It's only earned by you with yourself. You're not going to get self-esteem because everybody praises you. Someone can tell you your whole life that you're brilliant, you're a genius, you're beautiful, you're handsome, and you not believe it. Someone can tell you you're a piece of crap and you're never going to become anything, and there's a part of you can say, I'll show you, as many people have, and then they develop drive out of it, right? So it's really, self-esteem comes from doing incredibly difficult things where you know you pushed yourself. It's not virtue signaling. It's not telling people about it. It's what you know inside your soul is true. And the more you do things that are incredibly difficult, and especially things that are meaningful, meaning they're not just about yourself.
And that's life. We wake up every morning and make a decision who we're going to be. I've got Parkinson's disease, so getting up in the morning is not so easy for me. Getting dressed is not so easy. I have to make a decision. Am I going to be a fighter today, or am I going to be a victim? There's a great phrase, genetics deals the cards, environment plays the hand. So genetics and your background does influence your disposition to success in various activities. Another great thing I wrote once was, there's 1,000 excuses, but not a single reason. I did that with Bristol Bears rugby last season, they loved it. When you step into the challenge zone, the number of excuses for getting out, back into your comfort zone from there, multiplies. I'm too tired. It's too difficult. I'm having a bad day.
Part of my struggles after the game is my competitive drive. You know, I was such a competitive player, and each and every day felt the need to always get ahead of my opponent. Well, when you're out of sports and you're in, you know, in normal life, you know, you don't shed that armor that you actually have coated yourself with, you know, based on your lifestyle and work ethic. You know, it's just, you have to find your way around it, and that's frustrating, and sometimes that's even tough, you know, because of the competitive nature that I have. I look at everything from a competitive nature, you know, and I tell my wife all the time is that I'm cursed. I'm cursed from a competitive standpoint that, you know, I cannot watch or compete or be a part of things without competition.
And as I've said since day one, it's motivation is a feeling that comes and goes, and it doesn't matter whether it's there or not. Discipline is infinitely more important. So no matter how you feel, get up and do what you're supposed to do. That's it. And that's discipline. It's not motivation. If you only did what you were supposed to do when you were motivated to do it, that's leaving it to chance. But if you're disciplined, you go do what you're supposed to do. That's the way it works.
To realize wherever focus goes, energy flows. It's corny, but it's true, right? In fact, maybe an easier way of saying it is we don't experience life. None of us do. We experience the life we focus on. So in any moment, what's wrong is always available. So is what's right. So it's not about being positive. It's about being intelligent, right? You know, when you're in a totally negative state and the world's going to end, and there are people like believing that in the next 12 years, you know, the entire environment's going to collapse and they won't have a child. You know, you got to look at the impact of what you're believing, and you got to look at and say, you know, where's my focus going? I can always be upset about something. I can always find something to be joyous or at least grateful for, which leads to joy. And I think it's having that, learning to discipline your disappointments, you know, not allow them to grow and to move on and to use whatever life is giving you. But to me, it's like, I think there's 3 decisions that people make every moment of their life. Now, I'm not saying they make them consciously.
But you're looking for a full-on solution to this problem, and there's probably not a full-on solution that's going to satisfy every aspect of this scenario. So what you have to do instead is you have to look for what's the trade-off going to be. I'm going to win a little bit here, I'm going to lose a little bit there, but overall, it's going to move me in the right direction. I think it's a good thing to understand, as opposed to going through life thinking that you're going to find a 100% solution, because it's not going to exist. So you're going to have to make trade-offs in life.